Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's video I'll show you how I make this sweatshirt. These are materials which I'll be using to make my sweatshirt. First I'll show you how I make a pattern for my sweatshirt. To make my sweatshirt, I'm using this cobalt blue scuba fabric, which is quite thick scuba fabric, and for the pattern template I'm using one of my jumpers, one of my sweatshirts as a pattern, and I will be tracing that pattern out of this green sweatshirt. After I have cut front and back templates, now I'm pinning the front and back template so I know which is the left side of the fabric. And now I'm cutting the neckline on the front template, so the neckline at the front is lower, and I'm doing the same on the waistline. Next, I'm cutting two sleeve patterns. I'm tracing this green sleeve out of this blue fabric, and my blue fabric is folded in half so I can cut one whole sleeve in one go. After I have cut one sleeve, I'm pinning the left side of the fabric on this sleeve, and now I'm cutting same size other sleeve. After I have cut other sleeve, I'm pinning the left side on the fabric of this sleeve. Next, I will be cutting a hem pattern, two sleeve patterns, and the neck pattern. Hem pattern, I'm cutting exactly the same size as it is on a green sweatshirt on a fold. And now I'm tracing two sleeve cuff patterns, exactly the same size as it is on a green sweatshirt. Next, I'm cutting the neck pattern piece. I'm measuring the neckline and adding that measurement for the length of the neckline. The width of the neckline pattern piece is 3 centimeters. On a fold, it will be 1.5 centimeters. And here are all my pattern pieces: front and back pattern piece, hemline pattern piece, two sleeve cuff button pieces, two sleeves, and the neckline. Next, I'll show you how I sew my sweatshirt together. First, I'll be sewing these patterns together. I'm folding my hemline pattern piece in half, and I'll be sewing there. My sleeve pattern piece in half, and I'll be sewing there and there. The neckline pattern piece in half, and I'll be sewing there. I'm using overlocking machine to sew these patterns together. This is how it looks after I sewed all my patterns together. 2 sleeve button cuffs, the hemline pattern and the neckline pattern. I'm pressing that seam flat and I'm pressing the neckline pattern in half. I'm repeating the same process on both sleeve button cuffs. And I'm repeating the same process on a hemline pattern piece. All my small pattern pieces are finished now. Now I will sew the front and back template together. The right side is inside and I'll be sewing both shoulder seams there. I'm using overlocking machine to sew both shoulder seams together. This is how it looks after I sewed both shoulder seams together, nice and neat. Next I will prepare both sleeve buttons. I'm folding the sleeves so the right side is inside. Marking the center by cutting a small notch on the top center on both sleeves. Next, I'm opening up my front and back template flat like that. The left side is facing upwards, as you can see pins there. Next, I'm pinning the sleeves to the front and back template. I'm matching the notch of the sleeve to the shoulder seam and I'm pinning my sleeve to the front and back template. And I'm pinning other sleeve on other side, same way. After I pinned both sleeves on, I will be sewing all along there on both sides. This is how it looks after I sewed both sleeves on. Nice and neat finish. Next I will sew the side seams. I'm pinning both sleeve seams together and now I'm pinning the side seam and the sleeve seam as well. And repeating same on other side. And I'll be sewing these patterns together there and on other side there. So this is how it looks after I sewed both side seams together, including sleeves. Next, I'm pinning on this button piece, which I prepared earlier, all around the neckline, and that button piece seam goes on one of the shoulder seams there, and I'm pinning that button piece all around the neckline. My neckline pattern piece is pinned on now, as you can see there. Next, I will pin the hemline pattern piece on. I'm pinning the front center and the back center. And all centers on my hemline pattern. Hemline pattern seam, I'm pinning to one of the side seams. Next, I'm pinning all of the pins together, matching all of the centers. Front center, back center, and other side seam. My hemline pattern is pinned on now. Next, I will pin the sleeve button cuffs on. I'm pinning the centers on the sleeve button cuffs and pinning those cuffs on both sleeves. My sleeve button hems are much wider than my sleeve cuffs, so when I'll be sewing them together, I will be making pleats so my cuff fits the sleeve. I will be sewing all around there, all around there on both sleeves, all around the neckline, and all around the hemline. First, I will sew the neckline. This is how it looks after I sewed the neckline pattern on, nice and neat finish. Next, I will sew the hemline pattern on. This is how it looks after I sewed the hemline pattern on, nice and neat finish. Next, I will sew both sleeve buttons on both sleeves. My sleeve pattern hem is much wider than my cuff button, so When I'm sewing now, I'm making a small pleats so the cuff fits the sleeve hem. And I'm making those pleats evenly all around the sleeve hem. It looks like that. You can see those pleats all around the sleeve hem. Nice and neat finish, and I will repeat the same on the other sleeve. My both sleeves are finished now, and this is how it looks after I sewed all those small button pieces on a sweatshirt. Next, I'm turning my sweatshirt to the right side. Next, I will sew a top stitch millimeter seam all around the neckline, all around there. I'm using straight stitch sewing machine to sew a top stitch all around the neckline. Last thing what I need to do is sew my label on. I'm pinning the back center of the sweatshirt's neckline like that, and I'm sewing on my label at the back center. And here's my finished sweatshirt. If you have any questions how I made this sweatshirt, please do comment down below on the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel, and I'll see you next time. Love, Anita.